You Can Become a Hero by Orphan Account on AO3. Episode 2, Chapter 1, Good Boy, Bad Boy. They weren't going to the train station, as Dabi had predicted, and they were stopped at a dark car sometime down the road. It was running, a chauffeur fiddling with the radio. Hawks paused as well, turning on his heel to wave goodbye to the number one hero. Dabi didn't look his father in the eyes, as he asked, Toya, do you want to come home? There was no answer. Instead, he shoved his hands into his pocket, glanced across the street at nothing. Endeavor. Fuck. No. He has a name, albeit one Dabi despises. Enji gestured to the car. A bit too nicely for Dabi's liking. Your siblings have been wanting to see you again. And your mother is there too. She has been unable to stop thinking about you again all day. The bastard really expects him to choose to live, huh? Dabi tensed at the sound of his mother's name, remembering when he was young. He watched her, fighting and crying, getting dragged out of the house. It wasn't too long after that he ran away. The last time he saw her, she was in hysterics, forced into an institution. His hands clenched, and he walked over to Hawks. The hero stumbled back in a step in surprise, but listened as Dabi whispered, I'm going with you. Lead the way. Okay. Hawks looked to Endeavor and gave him a hand signal. Afterwards, he took part of Dabi's sleeve in one hand and began leading him down the street, wordlessly. Enji got into the car and was driven away. Just 2 blocks away from there, they reached a tall apartment building. Dabi couldn't help but think it didn't look too nice. It wasn't unlike the mansion he would have gone to if he'd had with Enji, but he'd have more spare space there. But he'd be hounded by the Zord family. Hawks led him through the floors before stopping at door 2C. He fiddled with his keys, but eventually got it open. A small bush on his cheeks as he walked in. I'm sorry it's such a mess. I can clean up a bit if you give me a minute. In the meantime, you could get cleaned up. I'll call a pizza guy. Hawks wasn't exaggerating when he said his apartment was a mess. Empty take-out boxes cluttered around the kitchen counters, alongside a scribbled pile of dirty dishes. Crumpled clothes littered the floor, especially around the couch in the living room, and in the corner of the bathroom, Dabi also noted that there was many moving boxes stacked in the corners of the room on the dining table. It was as if he'd never unpacked fully after moving there. Or maybe he really did move to this rat hole recently. Dabi looked around the small apartment curiously. There was a kitchen, a bathroom, a small room for storage and cleaning, living room with a dining room to the side. There was a closed door near the bathroom, likely his bedroom. The majority of the dust in the space was compromised with red feathers. There was also to be expected given the man's quirk. Hawks walked up to Dabi as the villain was looking around, handing him a towel. Here, take a shower. Leave your clothes on the counter so I can wash them. Dabi was ushered into the bathroom. Hawks followed in after him, scooping up his clothes in a big bear hug before waddling out to put them in the washer. Dabi closed the door behind him, debating if he should lock it behind him or not. He decided against it, leaving his clothes on the counter, as asked, before stepping into the shower. When he was younger, he loved showers. They were always warm and comfortable. He'd stay there for hours if he could. It wasn't like that at the League, though. Their only shower was grimy, and the drain was usually clogged with someone's hair. The only setting was freezing cold, so Dabi used it only when absolutely necessary, and it would always leave him shakily uncomfortable for an hour afterwards. But this shower was different. Despite a few feathers on the ground, it was in pristine condition and was filled with all types of body and hair products. He heard when Hawks entered to drag his things, but he left quickly after. Dabi felt a little bad as he had to use up probably all the warm water the hero had, but it was heavenly against the skin. For the first time ever, he could feel his skin prune up from his prolonged stay under the steady stream. Eventually, his scars began to look worse for wear, and he shut the water off, draping a towel around himself. Hawks seemed a little too prepared for him to be staying. Perhaps Enji assumed Dabi would be going with his old ally. A fresh pair of clothes sat at the counter where his dirty ones once sat. They still had tags on them, providing that they were new. Dabi quietly sipped on the clothes. Black sweatpants and a dark gray long-sleeve shirt. He dried his hair as best as he could, rubbing it aggressively through his hair before dropping it to the ground and leaving the bathroom. He was greeted to the smell of pizza. Hawks had cleaned up a little, as promised. There was 2 pizzas sitting on the dining room table, which was completely cleared off otherwise. The TV in the living room was now playing a stupid cartoon, but Hawks was nowhere in sight. 1 piece of pizza was missing. Dabi grabbed the untouched box and headed to the couch, flopping down. He kept the box on his lap as he ate. It had been so long since he had pizza all to himself. Usually he had to split it between everyone else at the league and had to deal with the leftover pieces no one wanted. The league acted like animals whenever pizza was around. Hawks emerged from his bedroom sometime after, now in sweatpants and a halter top. His wings were perfectly intact, fluttering a little as he walked over and grabbed a slice of pizza from the dining table. He looked to the boxes around him and sighed, taking a bite of his meal. Sorry, again, about the mess. I didn't have much time to get things together. Dobby reached for the remote as Hawks continued. Anyways, I'm gonna work on that. I'll be up for a bit if you need anything. I haven't really gotten to. Confused, Dobby turned to the embarrassed hero, who scratched his neck awkwardly. I haven't had much time or money to invest in another bed recently. I just changed the sheets and stuff on my bed. If you want to sleep there, I can take the couch. Dobby nodded his head, chewing the rest of his pizza slice. If Fox was expecting an answer, he didn't receive one, as the news came on. Dob settled the remote onto the coffee table and watched as the broadcaster began to report. Friends or foe? Turns out the #1 hero and 2 heroes, Hawks and Endeavor, are coming to aid the villain, Dabi, a member of the infamous League of Villains. We have just gotten word that. A feather drifted over and pressed a button on the remote, turning the channel to a TV drama. Hawks wordlessly grabbed a moving box and began unpacking until the dining room table. Dabi rolled his eyes and turned the channel to a game show, turning his attention back to his pizza. He ate half of it before putting it in the fridge. Hawks had already put his in there, crammed between the other half-eaten boxes of food and likely moldy pans of food given to him by fans. Dabi shoved the box half-heartedly into the mix, then walked out, passing the dining room on his way to the couch. Hawks was shifting through papers, a bored look on his face, as he examined all of them individually. Dabi rubbed at the bracelet on his wrist as he sat back down, turning the channel to a soccer game going on. The hero tensed up upon hearing the announcer, then looked up, eyes sparkling with glee. Abandoning the papers, he crept over to the couch, standing to the side as he watched the players move across the field. While Dabi wasn't much of a fan of sports, he didn't change the channel. It wasn't like there was much on anyways. Mind if I watch for a sec? Hawks said as he climbed over the couch and sat beside him, leaning forward to the screen. Dabi just shrugged, telling him to go ahead. Seconds turned to minutes, which easily turned into an hour. By the end of the game, where a team in red won, Hawks was passed out, a pillow to his chest, that he was resting against. Dabi turned the channel to a horror movie a few channels away, then set the remote down. He stood, stretching as he walked away. It would be so easy to just leave right then, walk out the door with new clothes, and head back to the league. However, if an opportunity came so quickly for him to run, then there would be more. For now, he wanted to relish in the warm water and all-he-could-eat buffet known as Hawks' fridge. Besides, it's been a while since he felt so comfortable. Maybe because he just spent a whole week in the most uncomfortable bed known to man. Scratching at the bands on his wrist, he pulled out a soda from the fridge and chugged it. He threw it into the overflowing trash can, throwing off the kitchen lights behind him. He wandered out of the room, sparing a glance to the dining room table. Bills and boring spam mail was sparse among the larger piles of fan mail. Stacks of envelopes with letters or drawings inside of them littered the table beside, a whole stack of plain paper and pens. He picked one of the pictures up. A drawing of Hawks that was made entirely of purple crayon. Don't move those around. Hawks called from the couch, walking up immediately. It was as if he could sense Dabi was moving. The dark bags under his eyes looked deeper than before as he got to his feet. I have them all arranged in order when I got them, so I can give them back sometime in the same order. Something? You know? Hawks mumbled, keeping the pillow to his chest as he walked over. Write a letter back, sign it, tell them to follow their dreams, tell them how much I appreciate them and their pictures. There had to be over 300 letters here. Did Hawks really think he could get through them all? Dabi eyed a letter near the top. It was delivered a week and a half ago. Hawks took the letter from him and placed it on the table again, straightening the paper lazily. Dabi stepped back to give him space. You answer all your own fail, man? Yeah, Hawks nodded. I once remembered I wrote a letter to my favorite hero of all time. I was so sad when they never answered, so I don't want to disappoint anyone, you know? Though, I guess it's too late for that, anyways, with everything I've done recently. Hawks paused and withdrew his hand, facing Dabi with an apologetic look. Sorry, I'm tired. I didn't mean that. I don't care. Dabi shrugged, heading back to the couch. He turned the TV down a little. You did it to yourself. You live with it. Guess you're right about that. Hawks walked out, but brought back 2 blankets and a pillow. My room has a TV in it. I could turn it on for you if you want. Rather stay out here. Dabi hummed. Door is closed. Hawks frowned, setting the blanket and pillow down beside the ex-villain. Hey, no need for that, right? I mean, you only have this chance, living with me for a bit. It won't be that bad. Dabi took the blanket and settled on the couch. Better than Endeavor, at least so far. That's the spirit. Go, get some sleep. Tomorrow is where things truly begin. Hawks cheered, his tone bland. He waved the man goodbye, then headed into his own room. Dabi didn't hear the TV start up. It was safe to assume the tired hero had gone to bed immediately. An hour passed and Dabi was still awake, laying on the couch, with blankets draped over him. Quietly he rose and began heading to the front door. He checked the lock, making sure it was locked all the way, then headed back to the couch to sleep. He woke up 5 hours later to the clicking feeling under his nose. He grunted, trying to push off whatever was hitting him, but it in return immediately shuffled. He swatted the air, hitting a feather. Luckily, it wasn't sharpened at that time, simply being used as a small messenger. Hawks, fuck off, I'm trying to sleep. I'm not even doing anything, the hero replied innocently, from where he sat atop the kitchen counter, ling swinging as he swooned a bit of frozen pizza. Must be your imagination. I'll burn it. The feather flew back to Hawk immediately, as if it was quaking in its boots. Dabi narrowed his eyes, pushing the blanket off of him. That's what I thought. I think it's what you wanted to tell you, to get off your ass and eat. We have to get soon. To where? It's a surprise. A shitty one? Hawk shrugged as he poked his head out of the living room. That depends on you. Oh my god. That's all I have to say. Just oh my god. No words. No words whatsoever. Absolutely none. I'm also tired as fuck, and that's enough recording for today. I think I've recorded so far too many videos to count. I am tired, I'm sleepy, I'm tired. I have to say sorry for 1 day of disappearing, and then technically speaking for this series it was 2 days. Sleep got to me. Sleep literally grabbed me by the goddamn throat and threw me across the room and made me their bitch. So, sleep has been fucking me on a regular basis. Anyways, this is a really interesting series. I am really excited for it. I love hot wings. When are they gonna smooch? Can they smooch now? Can they one, please and thank you. Okay. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.